But first, going to war, not going to woke. That's the focus of tonight's angle.
Americans love a winner and will not tolerate a loser. Americans play to win all the time. I wouldn't give a hoot in hell for a man who lost and laughed. That's why Americans have never lost and will never lose a war, because the very thought of losing is hateful to Americans.
It's time to win again. The president announcing a proposed name change after 76 years at the Department of Defense. The Pentagon gets new branding and a new focus. Woke is being replaced by war, as in the Department of War.
This is something we thought long and hard about. So we won the First World War, we won the Second World War, we won everything before that and in between, and then we decided to go woke and we changed the name to Department of Defense. So we're going Department of War. I think it's a much more appropriate name.
The new Secretary of War, if Congress approves of the name change, explained the rationale.
In 1789, George Washington established the War Department, and Henry Knox was his first Secretary of War. And this country won every major war after that, to include World War I and World War II. We haven't won a major war since, and that's not to disparage our warfighters, whether it's the Korean War, the Vietnam War, or our generation of Iraq and Afghanistan. That's to recognize that this name change is not just about renaming, it's about restoring. Words matter.
The critics were quick to jump in, of course, and declare that the name change is yet another sign that Trump's a bully who just doesn't understand deterrence. All he is belligerent. Well, of course, deterrence kept us safe. That's true during the Cold War, etc. New York Times columnist David Sanger hammered the rebrand and the message it sends, claiming it's a restoration of tough guy nomenclature at a moment when deterrence is more critical than ever. Further, he argues that this plays right into the hands of our adversaries, Russia and China. He claims who, in their telling, all of America's talk about being a peace-loving, law-abiding international player is just thin cover for a country that truly just wants to strike at any target it regards as a threat. Well, I understand the argument, I really do, but it's wrong. First, no one honestly believes that Trump doesn't like to negotiate and use soft power to avoid war. That's ridiculous. That's what we've seen him do to intervene diplomatically and help settle military conflicts already in the first 7 months or so around the world. And it's why he's still trying so hard with Putin and Zelensky. And of course, Rubio will still do his diplomacy, one of his many jobs that he's very good at. And our ambassadors, they will continue to represent our interests around the world. Now, after Trump left office, remember in 2021, he, like many of us, were shocked to see what had become of the U.S. military culture under Trump's successor. Was China really afraid of our military when Obama, then Biden, made the military experience seem more like a DEI workshop than a lethal fighting force?
We're frequently asked, what do climate change, sustainability, and clean energy have to do with the military's mission? Well, the short answer is a lot.
Throughout American history, LGBTQ plus citizens have fought to defend our rights and freedoms. From the founding of our nation to the Civil War, they fought for our country even when our country wouldn't fight for them.
Now it's red, white, and blue, no rainbows. Thanks to President Trump, the pride celebrations, the climate change workshops are gone. And the U.S. military, our fighting men and women, will now have one overriding mission: to be prepared to kill the enemy.
It's restoring, as you've guided us to, Mr. President, restoring the warrior ethos, restoring victory and clarity as an end state. Fight to win, not to lose. We're going to go on offense, not just on defense. Maximum lethality, not tepid legality. Violent effect, not politically correct. We're going to raise up warriors, not just defenders. So this War Department, Mr. President, just like America, is back.
Somewhere along the line, the Pentagon just lost its way. The U.S. military should be a synonym for excellence in warfighting. It should stand for victory. It should symbolize triumph. Instead, for too many years, it symbolized drift and weakness and, yes, defeat. Now, none of this is the fault of our soldiers. It is the fault of the politically correct generals and admirals who ran the Pentagon. That must change, and the president believes that part of that change requires a change in attitude. The Pentagon exists to win wars. That's not something to be ashamed of. If the president's relabeling leads to a stronger and better military, all Americans will have reason to thank him. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.